These are two great wireless mice that are pretty similar in size and not too far off in price. I'm Techify and this is my comparison between the HyperX Pulsefire Haste Wireless and Razer Viper Ultimate. So guys, let's get into this. If you enjoyed this video then make sure you subscribe and join the Techify Discord. I won't take up too much of your time with this comparison as I don't really need to. These are both great mice and I think price is going to come into it a lot. At the time of filming this video, the Viper Ultimate is a little bit more, the Pulsefire Haste is on sale for a little bit less, at least here in the UK. However, that varies so much from time to time. As always, since it's the most important thing, the shape is what I'm going to get into first. I'll put some dimensions on screen now, but these are pretty similar in length, height, and not too far off in width either. That being said, the sides on the Pulsefire Haste are much straighter, whereas they go in more on the Viper Ultimate. For that reason, I personally actually prefer the shape of the Viper for claw grip. The Haste therefore feels wider, and for me with my hand size about 17cm by 8.5cm, it almost feels just a little bit wide, like I'm almost having to stretch to claw it comfortably, whereas I don't have that issue with the Viper Ultimate. That being said, if your hands are as big as mine or bigger, you'll be able to claw the HyperX Pulsefire Haste very well anyway. If you're a palm user, honestly, they both feel fairly similar and I don't think it's going to make much difference. Then if you're a fingertip user, I think if your hands are big enough for it, the straight sides on the HyperX Pulsefire Haste are quite nice for that. However, that is going to kind of depend on you as an individual. Ultimately, these mice are kind of like all-rounders and I think most people will be able to get comfortable with both of these mice. A key difference between these mice is the weight, so the Viper Ultimate is about 10 grams heavier. If that isn't too noticeable, but if you really like your lightweight mice, then obviously go for the HyperX Pulsefire Haste. I think 70 grams on a wireless mouse, because you don't have the wire bothering you, does feel light enough to me, so personally, that weight difference isn't too big of a deal. Obviously, I do like the lighter weight a lot of the Pulsefire Haste, but I think it isn't worth necessarily sacrificing a better mouse if the Viper Ultimate was the one you were going to choose for everything else but the weight. Similarly, it does feel a little bit nicer not having all the holes in it like the Pulsefire Haste. That being said, unlike other manufacturers, you don't have any holes at the sides, which does make it more comfortable. Similarly, it includes these nice stick-on side grips, which I really like, and they make it feel even more comfortable. For the clicks, the Viper Ultimate uses Razer's optical switches, and then you have TTC Golds in the Haste Wireless. I do think the TTC Golds feel a little bit nicer and I personally prefer the feel of them. That being said, the latency and whatnot on these optical switches is going to be a bit better. However, in game the difference isn't going to be that big, but neither is it with feel. Both these mice feel really nice once you've been using them for a bit. Side buttons and scroll wheel wise, if you care about the scroll wheel, the steps feel a little bit more defined on the Viper Ultimate. It's a little bit lighter on the Pulsefire Haste. Both were usable though in my opinion. And then for side buttons, they feel nice on both mice. If anything, they're just a bit more flush and integrated into the Viper Ultimate, whereas they're a bit more prominent on the Pulsefire Haste. Similarly, on the Viper Ultimate, you do get buttons on both sides. This is going to be really good if you use the mouse with your left hand. I know you guys don't get a lot of love, so it's nice that Razer's included that. For the feet on the Viper Ultimate, I currently have the glass super glides from Pulsar. I do have a video about that. But as far as stock feet go, they're pretty good on both mice. I wouldn't say one is particularly much better than the other. Also, I can't test them side by side now. It's all from memory as I don't have the stock ones on the Viper Ultimate anymore. But in general, I don't think that's going to make too much difference. It's going to be good on both. The build quality is excellent on both. These are both manufacturers who know what they're doing and they've both made really solid products. Really quickly, RGB wise, you get a bit of RGB on the scroll wheel on the Haste and you get the logo on the Viper Ultimate. The last somewhat important thing would be the sensor. So both these mice have pretty good sensors and in a real world scenario, I don't think you'd notice a difference. They both have a lift-off distance of around 5 playing cards. However, I do think, on paper, the sensor in the Razer Viper Ultimate is that bit better than the one in the Pulsefire Haste. I really can't notice a difference when using these two mice, and I'd be very surprised if you could either. The final little thing is the charging and battery life. So the Haste has pretty good battery life and charges with USB Type-C, which is nice. The Viper Ultimate charges with micro USB, and honestly, I think the battery life's pretty good, but I don't really know because it just goes onto the charging dock when you're not using it. And that means it's always going to be charged, you're never going to have to worry about charging it, and it's a really convenient, nice, tidy way to put the mouse away, and the charging dock really sells this mouse for me. I know it doesn't affect your performance, but it's just a really nice quality of life feature. So as a final verdict, I think the Razer Viper Ultimate is a slightly better mouse overall and is going to be worth the extra price if it costs more, and if they're the same price then I think it's outright better. That being said, it is only by a bit, and if you're a big fan of getting the lightest mouse possible, then go for the HyperX Pulsefire Haste. It is still an excellent mouse. But if you told me I could only keep one, it would be the Razer Viper Ultimate. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, then comment down below, or even better, join the Techify Discord. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.